Hey guys, and welcome back to Pokémon Sword. Leon's gone a walkabout to Rose Tower, so now we've got to get there and basically convince him to, I don't know, do his fucking job. You know, we've got a finals going on here, semi-finals, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the equivalent is in Pokémon. Football is so much easier to understand in our world.
Well, I don't know, I sort of understand Pokemon a bit better than any sport, but that's because I'm a bit of a shut-in who doesn't engage with normies that well.
True. And if you want a prize for deducing that, oh, I don't know, Rose and Oleana here may be a little bit on the shifty side, no. You get no prize because it was fucking obvious, even by Pokemon standards.
Yeah.
Rose possibly could have convinced the people in universities on the level, but like Oleana, look at how she conducts herself. She's been the one who tries to rush everything along, has got that sort of not very personable attitude. She is the giveaway more so than Rose ever, in his fucking boxer shorts everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, I do quite appreciate that in a way, because what you could potentially believe throughout the majority of the game is that if there's going to be a villain, it's going to be Oleana and not Gem and Rose, because she's the one who kind of quite obviously presents as being potentially villainous, whereas Rose you could just about get away with. It's not like what's his face with the massive red fur everywhere in
Lysander.
Lysander in X and Y. That was a case of going, no, you cannot pass for a good guy in any way, shape or form.
Hello, I would like a genocide today.
Exactly. So I think that was sort of a good move, but to be honest, Pokemon is never going to make its villains not obvious, if only because that's, I think, just the way that their minds work with the villains.
Which I think is kind of a shame, because they have had opportunities to do that before. The one thing that really frustrates me with Sun and Moon's story is with what's the name? Lusamine. When she does that one glare at the camera, the signifier that, yes, I am evil, when her character in that position, there wasn't actually anything in story that was a hint. It was just, okay, we're going to spell it out for the player, just so they know ahead of time. That kind of killed her role in the story for me a little bit. They could have done a bait and switch there and got away with it, I feel.
Well, at least she was treated better in Sun and Moon than she was in Ultra Sun and Moon, and kind of capsized her entire arc and whatnot, and honestly, you could have left the husband stranded for all I care. He's not dead, he's in the archipelago, or whatever it's called, I believe.
Yeah, but think about this practically. The story where she got, infected with some Pokemon poison or some shit is the better treatment she got.
Yeah.
Yes, now we have to chase after Eric. He has the key that we need, so I'm going to flame charge this fucker in the face. Goodbye.
One thing you will notice about the Macrocosmos guys is they specialise in steel types, so if you have a fire Pokemon in your team, look forward to the next maybe hour or so story just being pressing A, use your fire attack, over and over, next Pokemon, press A.
Modern Pokemon is pretty much just press A. In fact, all Pokemon, I would say, is press A. Let's get down to brass tacks here.
There's usually a rock, paper, scissors type effectiveness thing, but when all the enemies have the same Pokemon type with basically no variance in terms of their subtypes, it literally is just use the same move over and over and over. And on my first run, I did notice this a lot because I had the Cinderace. The second time around, I just tabbed him in with Salazzle and did basically the same thing. So it's like there's no real challenge here, and I kind of get it. Usually the enemy teams do have a bit of a specialty, but even then, with say Team Rocket, they have the poison types, but they also have flying with Zubat, and sometimes they'll bring Eradicate out, and there's normally a little bit of something. Whereas these guys are all fucking steel type over and over.
Yeah. That's monotypes for you, I suppose. Monotype teams, and where could this one be? He's not inside the phone box. Nope, he's not there, but there is something here. A Max Revive. Why would you throw out a Max Revive? A perfectly good Max Revive at that.
Well, they might They might have dropped it, to be fair.
I think that's the most likely.
Right next to a bin? That's a huge coincidence, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe, but unless that little signifier there was us just reaching into the bin, which is kind of disgusting. But this guy's tip-off, if you haven't noticed, he's the one who has the dark sunglasses, so he's not doing a very good job at hiding and trying to play it cool there, I will say.
Definitely not.
I do like how he was like, how'd you find me? Did you just talk to everyone? Because that's basically how it works in Pokemon.
If you think, in the time that we potentially might have spent just talking to all the NPCs until we got there, he could have just fucked off down back to the stadium or some shit and been fine.
Or, he could have just taken his sunglasses off and we wouldn't have been any the wiser.
Although then we'd be looking for the one guy who isn't wearing any glasses at all.
So like, oh my god, like Clark Kent, Superman, something doesn't add up here.
Yeah, like, over time, consumers of fiction have slowly clocked onto this.
Sorry, I'm the only one allowed to have an Excadrill. You need to go now.
Excadrill's cool. Like, surely you should let every other trainer have a go with Excadrill.
No, it's either me or the highway.
Well, you've barely used your Excadrill so far, to be fair.
She is going to get her time in the sun during the semi or whatever finals. Give it time.
Okay, but I'm getting excited now, so this better be as cool as you're building it up to be.
She's not going to fucking slam dunk the stadium or anything, She's just going to be a Pokemon using Earthquake over and over.
Well, to be fair, that's cool. That's usually my strategy when I'm using Nidoking in Gen 1.
You could literally turn around and run. There's nothing stuff. Whatever. Let's just fly again, shall we?
Oh no, we've got to spend one more minute before he turns around and runs.
Oh, 4 times weakness! I'd say, I like the fact that they're called Macrocosmo, obviously because it's a reference to macrocosm, i.e. something that reflects the part that reflects the whole.
Oh, whole is incomplete. That took me a minute.
Oh yeah, it's not the bit that reflects the asshole. No, but yeah, there are other bits that are cooler, but the name's nice, and I do like that sort of they obviously are the people who run the league, and then you have the whole slightly dodginess about them, and my brain's just kind of completely flubbed on the words that I was looking for, which is ridiculous because I was watching an episode of Inside Number 9 the other night and that was basically all about it, and my brain's just kind of fried.
Is it the fact that they've monopolised the entire region and everything there? Because it's not just the league that they run the power. They have Pokejobs that they do all kinds of different things. It's like, this is the danger of letting one institution monopolise everything. Because if a portion of them decide to go a bit crazy, then everything's fucked.
Yeah, these are Oleana's guys though. The rest of Macrocosmos seem pretty content just doing their basic jobs. But no, these ones have to be like, I don't know, the KGB or something.
Yeah, and the word I was looking for was corrupt. That's what I was looking for. I can't believe my brain fried on that particular word, but there we go.
It's okay, I fired an anti-intelligence gun at your head so you wouldn't realise when I come in and take over everything and here, I'm going to run it into the ground the same way I did this fucking channel.
Oh god, don't use it on Richie, that's gonna drag our, mean IQ right down.
No, it's okay, I split his intelligence between us two, and now we're both half Richie.
Okay.
In terms of intelligence, this ain't a Xehanort thing, come on.
Speaking of which, I have beaten the secret boss of Kingdom Hearts 3 Reminder, and I'm so proud of myself.
Hashtag not so humble brag.
Yeah, but you can do a humble song to make up for it.
Yes, quite.
Indeed. Oh, Jesus.
It doesn't get any better the second time around.
Well, at least he's fucking singing something this time, as opposed to just tapping his foot.
You're not wrong, but it still doesn't make it better.
Seriously, I said it last time, but just give him a fucking guitar or something to explain the music playing, and then that'll do the same thing.
Or, just bring in voice actors, that would also work.
No, that would mean this poor indie company who only makes a handful of dollars each year would have to dub it in like several languages. Never mind, you could just put it in English and Japanese and subtitle the rest. No, that's too much.
To be fair, Pokemon doesn't need voice acting in its typical state. It's just for areas like this, if they're not going to be smart about how they work around it, then it's of very obvious hole in the game.
Yes.
Peters is a bro. He will continue to be a bro into the post-game as well.
It's odd that he wrote this song that has lyrics of Hop, HFC, get out of here.
I don't think that was part of the song somehow.
No, that was just one of his audience chants.
Here we are, Rose Tower. You think this would be the end of the game, but it is not.
No, but it is like the first bit of major, I guess, conflict that we have in the game so far, so it's kind of catches you off by surprise there the first time around.
Oh my god, yeah, you're not wrong. We went through a few caves and that was about it.
This is a thing that we'll see more of this over the course of this little endgame, quest sort of thing, but there's been no real stakes up until this point. Yes. And that kind of means that this part here, it feels like it's coming out of nowhere. I know when we see where Leon and Rose are and that, there'll be a bit of reasoning for what's going on, but it's the sort of thing that, because it's too little too late, it really doesn't leave any sort of impact in the overall story. When really, given, it's a face-off with the bad guy, it should be the most memorable part of the story, at least one of them. But no, it's just sort of here to tick a box, I guess.
So, I definitely agree with where you're coming from in the sense that it does sort of feel like it comes out of left field, because obviously it's a Pokemon game, therefore there needs to be a big climactic standoff with the villain of the game, because that's part of the fabric of the franchise. And it does come out of left field in terms of this, we go from absolutely no stakes to suddenly all of the stakes, and that's probably not the best way of going about it. That said, I would still rank this sort of the final segment of Sword and Shield as one of my favourites in any Pokemon game.
I agree, actually.
I think it's, in a way, it's sort of similar to Black and White in that sense, because there's something about doing this particular type of standoff right around the time of when you're sort of tackling the Elite Four / obviously the final tournament, that just sort of adds to the spectacle of the whole thing. And it's both your main goal being encroached upon by something else at the same time, and there's just something quite engaging about that. It also helps that just on the whole it's a really cool finale sequence, and that does just make me really happy. And that's basically where I stand on it.
I would say from the moment you touch down in Wyndon, that's when you're going to end on a good note. Everyone loves a good tournament arc and whatnot.
Yes.
As for Black, I don't think I've ever finished Black itself. I've finished Black 2. That's definitely one of the highlights of the whole franchise for me. But yeah, now we have a straight up fucking anime theme tune as we go up Rose Tower, and it's meant to be yeah, you can do it, but it's maybe a little bit too happy for its own good.
Well, I get what they're going for, and this actually does kind of complement the fact that these battles are so easy, and the fact that it's we're just storming this enemy lair, or at least we're kind of breaking our way in, and it's kind of meant to be that build up for just the constant stream of victories. And you'll notice when we get to the actual harder bosses at the top, then it kind of, the music becomes a lot more serious and a lot more.
It becomes really good, actually.
Yeah. But I will say, going back to what you were saying, Rich, about comparing this to how Black and White works to how this works, I would say that the main difference there is that why I feel the Black and White finale works so well is that over the course of the game you've had these two ongoing story arcs. You've had both your Gym and League challenge, and you've had the Team Plasma stuff, and it's both of them entwine right at the end, and so you've got this big like bombastic finale with everything coming together. This particular one, I would say this ending is kind of a difficult one for me to critique, because in a vacuum, just on its own, this is absolutely fantastic. You know, you got the music, the anime music, as we mentioned, just going on the whole time. You know, you storm in this big tower. It's like really cool visually. You know, you got like, it's just a really cool sequence from here on out, essentially. You know, it's not got that extra layer of being a payoff to something else, which the black and white one does have.
I do totally agree with you on that one, and I think basically where I sit with that is that when I'm judging the finales, I do tend to sort of think of them in a vacuum rather than as part of the package.
As an experience, maybe.
Yeah, because if you sort of go into that whole thinking of it as part of the package, then while this is still an excellent finale, you are right that it doesn't quite match up to... Well, the previous bits of the experience don't quite match up to the finale and don't quite lead smoothly into the finale. But the finale, as it is fantastic. And I think sort of it's one of those things that does tend to happen with most types of experiences. If something ends on a very high note, then generally what happens is that people tend to forget some of the stuff that they didn't like so much from earlier on, and they go out feeling happier and better about the product than they perhaps would have done otherwise. I know that that's definitely something that I fall prey to constantly, so I do have much fonder thoughts and memories of Sword and Shield because of this finale than I would have done had this not been there.
Yeah.
But I totally agree that it would have been even better had they sort of properly seeded it throughout the rest of the narrative.
See, when it comes to game design, that is something that is quite strongly emphasised in the fact that you want a good opener and a good finale, and they're like the two spots that you really need to make a good impression.
Definitely.
And that works with a lot of things, and it's a very important design mentality to have if you are having to cut corners somewhere. It's like they're the parts that need to be untouched. They need to be like the thing that sticks with people. I feel like RPGs tend to suffer more from having a slower mid-game, though.
Yes.
Purely because of the amount of hours that you're putting into it, and like people might be okay with like say an hour or 2 hours of like filler, or maybe just okay ticks the box kind of content, but maybe like 5-10 hours of slower stuff might put some people off. Like, it's a lot more to stick with you than say just like a couple of levels in a platformer or whatever.
So I like impatient hop here.
Oh yeah, like this is like the friendship between the protagonist and Hop coming together as well at the same time, and I feel like that's another reason why this comes along well as well.
Yeah, characterization and just the overall experience of what exemplified the good parts of Swish's finale, because it ain't the story, I can tell you that much.
But like, I feel like this is a good follow-up for Hop, because like obviously we just took him down in the league, no problem, but the fact that he's still here, he's still part of the story, and like he's taken losing like a pro, and you know he's still helping out and whatnot. You know, it benefits him a lot, and it makes him a much more memorable rival as well. Even if he does just use the same fucking sheep over and over.
This fucking against steel types, no less.
Like, what Pokemon does he have? I'm sure he has some stuff that would be much better against the steel Pokemon here.
Like, let me look this up, actually. Yeah.
Oh god, I thought he was gonna fucking shoot him there. Jesus.
Orbital laser engaged.
I mean, the thing is, as long as he has a fighting type move, he'd be probably pretty okay. Apart from obviously against Mawile there, but...
Yeah, but like all the others that go down with a good punch or a good kick or whatever.
Okay, let's have a look here. If the player chose Scorbunny. Right now, for some reason, he only has 3 Pokemon. That being Dubwool, Corviknight, and Rillaboom.
Okay.
They seem to do that with the like partner Pokemon mechanics when you do double battles, which is really bizarre, especially given you can use all 6 of yours, but he only has 3.
Well, at least Rillaboom has high horsepower, so it can, you know, super affect steel types that way.
So why isn't he using bloody Rillaboom, the useless twit?
Because the AI doesn't want to go through the complications of switching out, matching up to best types, and so on.
It's because, like, he's kind of expecting us to not completely sweep him, so he's expecting the sheep to just get beaten, and then he'll send Rillaboom out, whatever. That's a weird way of describing something as tall as 100 Machoke. Maybe if you're terrified of heights, don't work at the top of a fucking, like, office skyscraper.
No, the pension plan is great, though. Thank you, Hop.
I remember when I was younger, like, there's a place near where my nan lives that, like, it's a big office building that's like a huge skyscraper and you can see pretty much the whole city from the top. And we just went in one day and just asked the person on the front desk if we could just have a look out the window at the top, and they let us. Oh. And that was absolutely beautiful, just to see so much of the area. Like, I do really like the whole skyscraper aesthetic, I will say, in general, for stuff like that.
I have to agree, like, even though I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of heights, I like the view that you get when you are sort of up high, because it is generally always really quite impressive. I mean, when I went on holiday down in London the other year...
Oh Christ, this is a bland conversation, spice it up a little bit.
Well, no, I was just saying, sort of, when I went on the London night, because, you know, I had to be a full-on tourist whilst I was there, like, gorgeous day, and, like, when you get sort of, like, the top and you can just see out across, sort of, quite a bit of London, it's just like, wow, this is quite impressive.
Yeah, I have been on the Eye as well, that is a great experience as well.
Yeah, obviously it's terrible if it's foggy, which is exactly what happened to my mum and dad when they went.
Might as well have just jumped off a building for all I can see it. Alright, gonna take out the Steelix, which is very distressing to run into, spinning like a mad Beyblade in the middle of the wild area, I can tell you what.
I mean, it's probably even more terrifying, like, in universe if you bump into one in a fucking lift.
Yeah, true.
It's like, yeah, there's Steelix just chilling. Is there a weight limit on this thing? I'm kind of concerned here. It's like there's already like 6 of us and a sheep. Come on. Come on, Stunfisk, in your own time.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Also, I have grown to like the Galarian Stunfisk's design more than the Unova one, actually. Like, it's at first I was kind of feeling like, okay, like I like the whole like mousetrap kind of mechanic thing they got going on, but it's okay. But over the course of playing this game a couple of times, it has grown on me a lot.
It's a good job this isn't already moving, otherwise this would be a very interesting situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he just jumps up a bit and then the lift catches up with him and he's like, oh, that was underwhelming.
Hello, fucker. Incoming. Oh, how?
Holy shit, how much evasiveness does this fucking thing have?
It's okay. Hop is actually being a good partner right now. He's chipping away where he needs to be. He's finishing off those who need to be finished off. He's letting us level up where we need to level up. God, we're going to stomp his brother into the dirt at this point.
Quite right.
Like, Hop's deal here is to kind of cover for you while your, like, fire rabbit thing just jumps around aimlessly.
True, I guess.
Also, jumps up high into the air and then just pops back into existence when it fails.
Oh, to be fair, like, every Pokemon game's done that with Bounce.
I mean, it's how it works. I mean, it goes back to that whole thing of, yes, they could probably do better with some of their animation in certain areas, that being one of them. Another example we'll see later on.
Oh Christ, I know exactly what you're talking about because I put it on Twitter.
Infamous example. But what? On the flip side of that, all the Pokemon you have, all the moves you have, it's inevitable there's going to be something that's going to be at least a little bit shit.
Yeah, like, I'll shit on the ones that are completely nonsensical, like, you know, headbutting with your foot, shit like that. But the ones that are just like, you know, it's not great, but it does the job, I can kinda turn a blind eye to them, you know?
Ah, so here it is, the rub. It was her stuff all along, the things that I said back in there with my mouth, and now it's time to face Oleana.
That's the expression when you know you're getting fired later.
Ah, she was secretly angry all along.
turns out that when they got the resting bitch face, if you open the eyes all the way, it's actually terrifying.
Yeah, a little bit. Earrings are clipping through her thing. Please stop doing that.
Yeah, maybe pick a better angle for this.
Oh man, Kara, our artist, was actually like designing thumbnails for this, and there's one frame of where she like does her animation where the Pokeball stretches.
Jesus.
Well, no, it's just what is it, squash and stretch? Yes, sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up here. Anywho, Oleana, I would like you to take a close look at the Pokemon this lady uses, because I think it says a lot about her personality, actually. Number one, we have a ghost type here, and I'm pretty sure Frostlass, isn't it like the ghost of a woman who died in the mountains or something?
Something along those lines. It's the special evolution of Snorunt.
Yeah.
So it's Ghost Ice. Which also points out here that Oleana is the only member of Macrocosmos who does not specialise in the Steel type.
Well, I think it's because she knows better, honestly.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's an ice type she leads with, so you can still let your fire type just keep doing its thing for a little bit longer.
Oh.
But yes, we finally get a counter for Cinderace now. Milotic, one of my favourite Gen 3 Pokemon, I will say, even if it is a bitch and a half to get.
I don't think I ever got a Feebas back on my old cartridge, but hey ho. Hey, toxicity! I can't fucking say words. Toxicity. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in a bit of a headspace today, a weird one. But yeah, his Gigantamax got announced, and well, officially anyway, it was spoiled for a long time. And I believe from February 7th, you can go into the wild area and get it. There are two versions. The low-key one has a special G-Max move where it pulls out a guitar made of electricity.
Nice.
And then there's the amped version where it's on all fours, and it looks amazing. It's definitely, I think at this point, the Pokemon that we saw on the relief on the side of the hill back in Turffield.
Yeah, the giveaway for me is the like pylon thing on its tail, because that's like the bit that made that distinct from the regular Toxtricity there. But like the fact that they pull out instruments and stuff, like I want to see like this fucking Gigantamax band now just like completely filling a stadium by themselves. Like that'd be fucking incredible. Hey Salazzle, I like that you're 2 times weak to ground here.
It's great.
Maybe we shouldn't earthquake at the top of a tower.
No, it's fine. It can take it. Base Simone, and the first KO. Beautiful. Magnifique, even.
But given it knows earthquake, I imagine that's the first of many.
Yeah. So we have Milotic, obviously the pretty side of Oleana. Then we have the toxic side of Oleana mixed with the beauty. Now we're back to just like the plain old beauty side again. So there's a little bit of a theme running here. Like,
Oh yeah.
beautiful Pokemon for the most part, with like a little bit of edge to them, as it were, underneath the surface.
Definitely. And I mean, I suppose that's quite fitting with her name, because so it's all based around olives. So Japanese name is literally Olive. German and Spanish it's Olivia. And everywhere else is basically Olive. The only different ones are French, where they call her Liv, based on olive. And then in English, Oleana, which comes from Olea, which is the genus that contains olives.
Now, the final one on her team, which is pretty much the summary of everything, like, coming together on it. Like, you can put on the beautiful face and whatnot, like, with your Serena and your Milotic, but at the end of the day, you're just a pile of trash.
Well, it goes a bit deeper than that. It's because she's a toxic personality.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but I like calling, like, a wife who I don't like trash, so I'll roll with that. Are you guys sure there's not a weight limit on this building?
This is just a projection. It's not actually growing that big.
We hope.
No, it's true. That's confirmed in law.
Oh, yeah.
Which I still find to be just a really strange bit of lore. Just say that they get gigantic. Like, it's fine.
Does it really matter? We'll have forgotten all about them next gen.
I guess so.
Gigantamax Garbodor is amazing, apart from the fact that it's so tiny.
Well, yeah, it's like they're trying to exaggerated size by showing what I suppose that's meant to be like toys or like a plane and a boat, but you know, like all I get from it really is like the whole Camo Demacy thing, where it's like picked up like different bits and pieces as it's been going along.
Yeah, that is a big pile of shit, but it's gone. Oh no, it's not gone. I just have to survive this, and then I can counter. Come on. Yes, we're safe.
You live to do more Mr. Crimes.
It's crime time.
But yeah, can you see what I mean by like it's so much smaller in comparison to Mr. Rhyme, and at that point you just kind of go, it's not that terrifying anymore.
I'd like to point out that Garbona literally fucked itself there by using Max Rockfall.
Yeah, like that is one of the things though, because like a lot of the like Dynamax moves and Gigantamax moves do have like a weather effect tied to them or some kind of extra effect on top of damage, and so like you might want to put the rock thing on to get type coverage, but that means you are now vulnerable to the sandstorm you caused. And look, she looks so pissed there. That expression is great.
No, she's not pissed, she's defeated, mate. It's like, oh, my entire life philosophy is down the shitter right now.
Oh fuck, there goes me bonus.
Keep that Max Rockfall thing in mind, by the way, and the chipping and the fainting, because it's not going to be the last time we see it before the main story is done.
Oh god.
Is this going to be a good way of remembering this, or a hilarious way of remembering this?
Well, you will just have to wait and see. We're recording the last 4 parts tonight. That's your only behind-the-scenes thing you're getting.
The other behind-the-scenes thing is this is just a really awkward cutscene to watch, because it's basically a picture in text.
Did you literally run out of time? What is the point? Did you not want to make unique camera angles and whatnot for your 3D models talking?
See, this, I would be okay with this if there were more of them. Like, if during these sections earlier where, like, they had the Dynamax Pokemon rampaging and that, like, and if they didn't have the means to animate that properly, and they'd maybe just shown some of these, like, high-quality drawings of that happening, then I would at least think of it as a thematic thing. That's, like, an art style they're going for. But it's just the one, and it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Agreed. And once again, it's the fact that also there's no music during any of this section. It's just silence and them talking. And, like, what they're talking about is important to the plot, but it's just a little bit dull. And like, I love this finale, and I do think that this is sort of a cool motivation. It's just that did not present this particular bit very well at all.
Okay, first of all, no, it's not a good motivation, because this is the most ham-fisted, we must save the world from global warming thing I've seen in a while. I'm all for saving the world from global warming, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I live on the world.
Yeah.
It would be good if it didn't explode or melt or whatever. But, you know, Leon has a point. Why do we need to do something that's gonna be a problem in 1,000 years? Literally just wait one more day and I'll help you. And he's like, no, it must happen now for reasons.
I mean, that particular point of the motivation is ridiculous. But clearly also he's off his face. I mean, anybody who thinks that those shorts were a good idea, and also sort of his whole look were a good idea, really needs probably things seeing to. But
Well, I think you're just profiling him here right now. There was nothing to suggest he's a loony or anything.
What, the dads who dress up bad on holiday are all evil, gotcha.
Yep, they want to enact the darkest day, all of them, every single one. Yes, it's going to be one for the history books indeed, Leon. One could say, I'm going to take over Galar. Take over Galar. It's gonna be great. Oh boy. We'll see you guys next time when the Pokemon Sword continues. Bye for now.